Hey, babe.
Hey, did you really buy that bike?
So as far as days go, that's a good one. Okay, so first of all, thank you for coming with me to pick up my bike.
You're welcome. Are you excited?
I'm super excited. So are you excited is the question.
I'm not allowed to be excited. I was told that I get overexcited, and that's probably where I'm at. So I'm as excited as you are.
Nice.
No more. We'll see. We'll see. I'm trying to keep it cool. I'm trying to be cool.
You're trying to keep it cool while also scheduling lots of trips.
I have a few trips in mind, and I'll try not to mention them too terribly often.
I'm going to ask you more questions than you asked me. You always talk about riding motorcycles with your friends. Were you the first of your friends to get a motorcycle, or who owned a motorcycle first?
There were three of us. A friend of mine named Wade and a friend of mine named Glenn. All kind of got bikes at the same time. And we rode them in high school. We rode them around.
Did their dads ride? How did they, just figure out how it happened.
I don't know. We were probably talking at lunch one day, and it seemed like a good idea. And
that sounds about right.
yeah. And none of us had money. We had bad cars, but we all worked at the same grocery store too. So we kind of together all the time. And we had these magazines. They used to have these magazine catalogs that you could look through, and they were all over. Like we'd bring them in and look through them, and we were all kind of motorheads,
Because you have to be when you have a really bad car.
Yeah, because like we had to be motorheads, right? That's a good point. But we all had really bad cars, and they were ugly too, and there was no way we were going to afford cars that looked decent. But in our minds, we could afford awesome motorcycles, and they were probably going to get us girls. I can guarantee you, I have gotten 0 girls out of a motorcycle from 16 till I got married to you, babe. No girl.
Not quite the chick magnet that you have.
It is definitely not the chick magnet. But at 16, I didn't know it. I did figure it out shortly thereafter, though.
That's funny. So what's the funnest thing you've done on a motorcycle?
I can't tell you. No, I'm just kidding.
Tell me about your first bike.
The first bike I cobbled together, or the first bike that actually ran well on the street and I bought?
Whichever one you want. This is your story. Up to you.
Since we're going to buy your first bike, I'm going to talk about the first bike I bought.
What kind of bike was it?
It was a Kawasaki 454 LTD. They were really an ugly Harley Davidson knockoff, but there were lots of them and no one wanted them, so they were cheap. And I happened to be just a grocery clerk at the time.
How old were you?
I was 16.
Okay. What color was it?
Maroon. It was like a burgundy maroon type thing. Very 80s. And it had a dent in the tank, but it was on the Kawasaki dealership's showroom floor, and I had kind of eyed it, mostly because it was in my price range of almost nothing, but it was still more than I could afford.
Do you remember what it was, like what the actual cost was?
I want to say it was like $2,700, something like that.
Okay.
And I had about half of it saved from grocery store clerking, and my parents absolutely hated motorcycles. Hated them. My dad begrudgingly took the motorcycle class with me so I could get my license, but he didn't even ride. He didn't even finish the class. He hated riding them. He hated looking at them. He actually had a wreck in the class. The only person I have ever known to wreck in a motorcycle class. So motorcycling probably wasn't for him. But Mom said, if you can come up with the money, then you can have it. You can do it. So I got about half of it, and I thought, banks have money, and I told Mom I was going to get a loan for it, and she said, you know what, if you go in there and talk to them, I'll co-sign that loan if they agree to it. And I think what she wanted me to do is walk into a bank and have them say no, right? They were going to be like, we're not going to give this kid money for a motorcycle. Well, I walk into the bank, and I just happened to walk into the vice president loan officer of the bank, and she wanted the photo op of loaning money to a 16-year-old. So,
nice.
So I actually got on the paper, or in the business section, you know, down the corner, about the local bank loaning to a kid. And the motorcycle part really didn't come out in that article, but I think that's why she did it. And much to my mom's
You were in the motorcycle
sadness, yes, I got my loan. So I got a loan for about $1,200, and then I paid the rest out of my savings account for my grocery clerking job.
That's hilarious. I can imagine your mom was, a way to not say no. That's funny.
Right. Let me get some gas here. Okay, we got gas. So I was on my story. Where was I?
You were done, I think, with your story. But I have a follow-up question.
Oh, okay.
Well, I have the really important question.
The really important question.
Yeah.
In seriousness, I guess, if you're riding a 125, all I have is a big GS and a DRZ, both of which are much bigger bikes than the 125s. The 125 class's top speed is 55 miles an hour. Case closed. You might get to 59 going downhill.
So
tailwind behind
that's
you.
why everybody kept saying you need a 650. You need a 650.
Right. It would be. I don't think it would be as fun for me to be riding a big bike when you're riding a little bike. I think it works out better if there are comparable bikes in a group of riders. So some people get Groms as their second bike because they're super fun. Those little 125s are super fun, even for riders that ride a lot. And it's even more fun when they ride together. But part of that is, if you're on a 125 and you're trying to keep up with a 300 or 600 or God forbid a Harley Davidson, you're always behind. They're just not the same class of machine. And I want us to ride together. So I only buy bikes used. I don't buy brand new bikes. And like some people I know, I've never owned a brand new bike ever.
You've never owned one?
Never owned a brand new bike. Never bought a brand new bike home.
Have you ever bought a bike from a dealership?
No, Stradella was private sale, but like I bought an R6 from a dealer. I bought several bikes.
You bought your Harley from a dealership.
I bought a Harley. I bought an R6. I bought that Kawasaki 454. I bought plenty from a dealership. But used. They were on the used side of the dealership. Yep. I've never bought a new bike. Never sat on a brand new bike.
You have sat on a brand new bike in a dealership and the floor models.
No.
That is not brand new?
No, I've never ridden one with no miles on it.
Oh, wow.
Out of the crate.
Well, this one won't be out of the crate. I think they set it up for me.
Yeah, there's probably a mile on it, actually. There might be 30 if they really liked it.
Have you ever owned a Honda? Or what Honda bikes have you owned?
Zero. I've never owned a Honda.
So I'm buying a brand new bike and a Honda, and you have never bought a brand new bike or a Honda.
Right. And I've actually never owned. I cannot believe I have never owned a Honda, because I don't hate Hondas. I think Hondas are an awesome motorcycle. They make a great product. I've just never owned one. How excited are you about picking up your new bike?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're about to pick it up.
Are you gonna be sad if you drop her?
I am going to drop her. That's what I have to tell myself. I am going to drop her. I am going to take her on trails, so she's going to get scratched up. She's probably, she has a pretty little paint job, and I will grieve over her paint job, and I'll be nervous over her paint job as long as it's pretty. So it's probably a good idea if I go ahead. I'm not going to go ahead and drop her, but if I go ahead and bang her up a little bit.
Arrived at your destination.
Well, not quite. I thought the parking lot went across like this, and it doesn't. So I pulled out in front of a truck and had to dart across, and whoops. And I darted into a weird Mexican restaurant looking place. That's okay. That guy's going to pick up a motorcycle too.
How you know?
Because he was, look at him. He's pulling right in there. There's another big truck. He's coming to pick up his motorcycle too. Everybody's getting ready for their weekend with their brand new motorcycles. We walk in and Ron has my bike setting out and ready for me. The paperwork's all laid out. While I pay and sign papers, Mike tries out a 2021 Grom on the showroom floor. I was distracted by the vintage CT70 and CT10 hanging from the ceiling. Mike makes quick work of loading and strapping down my bike. Note that he was technically the first to ride her, with 0 miles, even if it was just across the parking lot.
You want me to take your picture? Oh, please stand.
It's pretty quiet.
It looks great. The fit and finish on it is better than I thought it'd be. It really, that's good thick paint, and yeah, LEDs. It's fantastic build, Honda quality. I mean, even on their little bikes, they put good quality to it.
But she is pretty.
She is pretty. I don't want the first drop to be in the bed of the pickup, you know? I dislike being stopped in traffic.
So the thing that people may not realize is that we have been in the truck picking up this motorcycle and bringing it back home, and we're on hour 5 now, and we're in a fairly large traffic jam because we hit rush hour through Knoxville. What do you have over there?
M&M's.
Did you go inside a gas station and get those M&M's? Have you been sneaking M&M's this whole trip and you didn't tell me about them?
No. Maybe. You want some M&M's?
So unfortunately, my pain meds have worn off, and now I am laying in the back of the truck. Mike's driving us home. It's been a long day in the car, and I probably took on too much, but there she is. Isn't she pretty? So we're back at the house. It was a long day. I've been trying this week to work 3 hours, sleep 2, work 3 hours, sleep 2, or rest for 2. So I think I'm going to take a little 2-hour rest. Hopefully it's still daylight by the time I can get back up, and I'll go back out and try to actually sit on the bike, maybe even start it, play around a little bit.
It's so cool.
The problem is, how do I get it in gear and go at the same time right now?
You put your other foot down on the bottom, use your front brake as your brake. Okay, and then now just put it in gear. Push back on your heel. Okay, now you're in first gear. Now both feet down. Now just go. Just
Chris is right there.
roll forward. That's all there is. That's awesome. Keep your speed up.
So as far as days go, that's a good one.